Hello, fabulous sisters. Kathleen here with my handy dandy microphone. Happy Thursday. I almost had to think there for a minute. It's been a whirlwind week, and I was just posting. I'm not sure what's happening. There seems to be a hesitation in the video again. I was just posting about the next event because we just had the last one on Sunday, but I feel like they're getting better and better. I keep kind of tweaking each one, doing a little bit different. Actually, the last one was a lot different, completely different. And then I was tweaking this one. So each one is going to be a little different. Um, there's always going to be fun learning interactivity. So the link is here. Do sign up and save your spot for September 8th. It's a Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific. So that should hit most of the time zones and availability. So if you're in the US, you can have an awesome Labor Day week and then join us on Sunday the 8th. So anyway, I'm excited to be here. And this morning I was reflecting on something that I wanted to share. And I put here in the subject, the decade from hell. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, I look back and it's so interesting. Do you ever look back on your life and there was some period that was just really insane and you're like, how did I ever survive that? And of course, going through like breakups with narcissists and all that is part of that. And in 2011, so 2011 to 2021, kind of crazy times. But 2011, I left a 22-year corporate career, which was, pretty big because I was in that same stable job for years and years, and I wanted to go in business and I wanted to help people because I had studied, life coaching and hypnotherapy and all these awesome tools. And so for the next 10 years, well, I went through about 5 different offices in various locations between Arizona and New York, but I also moved 7 times in that 10-year period. 2 of those moves were across country, 2,200 miles with animals in tow, including 5 horses, a couple goats, some cats, some dogs. It was really wild. Um, I got divorced twice and married twice because I had left my corporate job, then left my marriage, and then I ended up marrying. And then there was the whole narcissist thing in the midst of all that with, cheating stuff coming up, crazy business stuff. And my mother and stepfather developed dementia. And over a few year period within that decade, they were really struggling. And then they passed away 6 months apart. So that was a lot of, emotional difficulties, also physically, dealing with possessions and all the things, and step family relatives, and it was a little messy. So there was that. So there was moving 7 times, married twice, divorced twice, not necessarily in that order. Um, the losing my mother and stepfather that way, slowly and surely, in all the different, I think I went through 5 different business iterations between I had started a nonprofit, got divorced, had to close a nonprofit. Um, at one point, I was doing spa parties where I was like doing these guided meditation things during the spa parties, trying to combine like skincare and feeling good and self love with, what I was doing. And yeah, did workshops, traveled over to the UK 5 times and did workshops. And towards the end of that crazy decade, in 2021, just as my current husband and I moved, he got deathly ill with sepsis and almost died and was in the hospital for 10 weeks. So that kind of capped off, I can see really clearly this decade of like, it was nonstop. Like every year, it was major life changes, getting divorced, moving, death, finding out the spouse was cheating, whatever was going on. It was just constant, constant. And I always say it's like being on a roaster, roller coaster inside of a blender. It's like your life is up and down, and you never know when someone's going to just like press the button of the blender, and all of a sudden you're going to be going in 50 directions. And it just was nonstop. It just went on and on. And of course, animals, I love my animals. I lost animals in the midst of that as well. Horses, dogs, whatever. And um so yeah, lots of changes. More changes and more loss than a human being is probably meant to go through in that time frame. And for a couple years I kind of went off and was like making chocolates and selling chocolates and kind of just like I think I just needed time to decompress and do some healing and get my energy back. So that's why I'm here. That's why I'm back again because I was gone for a little while because I really needed to uh, get back to me, find myself again, do some healing and self love. And so that's why that all happened. And, um, but I'm energized now and I'm more than ready to help and serve and help others in this way. And you may have noticed the whole animal theme coming up. I talked in my webinar Sunday about how I got into animal communication. Animals have always just been this kind of foundation for me of support, unconditional love, just the stress relief is awesome. And then I had gotten into animal work, animal communication, sharing animal messages with people. That was more around 2020, 2021. And I'm leaning into that again. And um, horses, have been very meaningful to me around uh, freedom, empowerment, especially the Mustang. There's so much going on here in the West with the Mustangs, the wild horses. And so that's why that symbolism is coming up a lot. And I've incorporated it into my work. It was like I was doing healing work with women, well, people in general, I should say, and then getting into the animal healing work, and then slowly coming around to combining it together and how animals help us heal and how we can tap into that power that animals have for self empowerment. So that's why it's coming up in my webinars now and why I'm talking about it. And you'll be seeing more and more posts with the animal theme incorporated into it because I'm getting back to that. I used to talk about the Mustang mindset a lot, and some people were like, "What are you talking about?" And it's always been symbolic to me for the strength and the freedom of the wild horses and how we can tap into our power. We can be free of, the trauma bonds and the ruminating and our self loathing and all of the things that we go through when we go through narcissistic relationships. So I want to share that with you as well. So anyway, I hope you're doing well. Would love to get a little interaction. Feel free to pop a comment below, ask any questions. Have you had the decade from hell in your life? If you look back, was there a time, and I wouldn't doubt the narcissist was involved, um, in all the massive changes you had to go through. And, also, as I was saying, I was talking about the lessons around animal healing and everything. But, the other day I was in a group with other healers, light workers, leaders, whatever you want to call it, who are helping others with, getting their life on track and being in their power. And, the topic was so similar among everyone, and it was self-love. In fact, I'm going to post one. Look for the post with the coffee cup in it, because I said self-love isn't just buying yourself a cup of coffee and getting a manicure. And I see people say, "Oh, this is, I'm loving myself. I did this." Well, that's a nice first step. And I say that sometimes, are you thinking of yourself? Are you treating yourself? And that's great. But it's also about going really deep into healing so that we do become narcissist proof. So I talk about that in my webinar. And I'm talking a little bit about it here as well, but I really go through a process when we go live. Also, I offer the Time to Thrive call. This is a complimentary call that you can book. Message me if you can't find it. It should be in the featured posts. I was just taking a look at the featured posts, and I think there's a couple of them that have my link where you can book a call with me. There are like 7 brief questions, but it's trying to find out and get clear on where you're at, what your struggle is, what's going on with you before we even get started so we can get the ball rolling. Um, because I hate to see you stuck in spinning your wheels. Not that I can see because I don't know what's going on in your world. But if you're feeling stuck, if you're spinning your wheels, if you're tired of same old, and you're really ready to move forward in your life and you're ready to make that self love commitment to you of, okay, I'm ready to really go deep now. I'm ready to finally become narcissist proof. Because the problem is when we don't heal these deep wounds, we leave ourselves wide open for another narcissist to come along, idealize us, slap another band aid on it. We feel great for a while, been there, done that. And then, the band aid gets ripped off, and then we feel like crap again. It's this vicious cycle. And as an intuitive, which we all have an intuition, but one of the things I talk about in my webinar is, trusting our intuition. We don't listen to our intuition because we don't love ourselves enough to listen to our intuition. And that's part of what I help women with is we go deep and we heal. We heal the trauma bond and the ruminating and have healthy boundaries and do all the things we need to do to really love ourselves. Like I say, not just a cup of coffee, not just a manicure, but really go deep into self love, um, so that we finally are living an empowered life. And when we are living that empowered life, we're just so much more effective in the world, right? We're able to help others. We're able to help children, our children, our family, because we're taking care of us and we have more strength, we have more endurance. And I know there's a feeling, especially after narcissistic relationships, that, we're not worthy. We're not worthy to invest time and money into ourselves. Um, and so, it's time to get out of the hole, to get out of the pit. I talk about the pit on my webinar of really being stuck in this hell of being miserable and the self-loathing. And we can we can come out of that pit, but we need that helping hand. It's really hard to do on our own. And part of self-love is, accepting that helping hand and finally going, I'm willing to get the help I need, to do the things I need to do to make my life better, so that I can be more effective in the world, so I can live on purpose, so I can, I should post that self worth wheel again. The self worth wheel shows that in the middle, when our self worth is whatever, if it's bad or whether it's good, how it affects every area of our lives. It affects our career, right? How much money are we going to ask for if we don't believe in ourselves, and then struggle financially, and our relationships aren't good, and we eat emotionally. I wrote a book on this called Lose the Diet. We eat emotionally because we our self-worth is low, and so we're stuffing our emotions. So it affects every area. It affects our health, so um that self-worth key, it's kind of, there's an irony in that we feel sometimes, especially after a toxic relationship, we feel worthless, and because we feel worthless, we're not willing to take that step to take care of us and to necessarily invest in ourselves, and that's the very thing that's going to help fix our self-worth. So it's like we get caught in this vicious cycle, right, of um not loving ourselves, and then because we don't love ourselves, we don't do the things to help us love ourselves, and it just spins in circles like that roller coaster inside of a blender that I was talking about. So anyway, hopefully my story and message to you resonates, and helps you to you know take a step in the right direction. Whether it's booking a free call, whether it's joining the free live event, doing something to get moving in the right direction. The biggest trap of all is that we start feeling better and we think, I'm okay. And we don't see the unhealed wounds that are still there. They're still lurking because it takes a while. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in a month. It doesn't even happen in a year. So we have to not overlook that. Just because we're feeling better, but not best. And we may not even recognize what feeling best is because we've never been there, because since our childhood, we've had wounds from the parents or whoever, and it's not to point the finger. Stuff happens, and then we have these wounds, and we're so used to it. It's like we're numb, and we're stuffing the emotions or whatever we're doing, whether it's food or something or relationships, and we don't realize we're in a pattern here because we've had these issues going on our entire life, and it feels normal to us. It feels like, this is the way life is. It just feels this way. It doesn't have to feel that way. It can feel a lot better than it's feeling now, I guarantee, but we have to do the work on ourselves. So, I don't mean to lecture. I'm just offering loving, caring advice. That's why I'm here, because I've been there. I know what it's like. And, to offer you, extend that helping hand. If you're in the pit, if you're ruminating, if you're in the trauma bond, there are a number of other issues, which is probably why you're here. Take that hand, and that's the first step to self-love, is taking that helping hand so you can finally move forward in your life and live a life that's aligned, authentic, and abundant. Those are three of my favorite words. Aligned, authentic, and abundant. The life that you're meant to live, that's part of your powerful soul that you're here to do, and whatever purpose it is that you're meant to be doing, and not having all of the emotional baggage getting in your way. So, Sorry, a little bit of an itch there. Anyway, do join me and or sign up for a call. And again, I'll be posting more content here, some of it animal related. And anyway, I hope you have a great weekend. If I don't talk to you sooner or talk with you, I feel like I'm talking at you. But it's just the nature of Facebook Lives, something we have to get used to. Um, so, anyway, thank you again for tuning in. If you're catching the replay, it's because the red live thing isn't there. But still, feel free to comment, ask a question, anything you want to know, pop it in the comments, and I will see it. So, thank you for being here, everyone. Lots of love, virtual hugs, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.